Hello, this is William Hung, and it is Seltzer Time.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Seltzer Time podcast. It's your boy Ricky, aka Dick Chuck, aka the man behind the can at Seltzer Time Official. Here is always with my conversation accomplice, the man with the hunch about Worcester, Travis.
What is crackin', Fizzle Fiends? Welcome back to the Seltzer Time podcast. And as always, thanks for joining us. This week on the show, we are talking to Vanessa and Casey White of Jaju Pierogi. But before we get there, y'all know what we have to do. Hey, Ricky, how was your week, buddy?
What up? My week was pretty solid. I packaged a billion things for Worcester Wares, and I
ran around in your shorts.
Ran around in my shorts. Yeah, I had to start wearing basketball shorts.
I like how you have the
kind of wild,
the travel wear and then the in-shop wear.
Yeah, well, it like snowed out the other day, so I had to wear boots to walk from where I park my car down to the store. But I'm not a boot guy, so I'm not gonna like walk around all day in boots. So I brought the boat shoes for that. Plus, it's like 9,000 degrees in that store.
Is it really that hot in there?
Yeah, it's so hot. It's insanely hot. But yeah, no, it was good. It was good. So I did that, and then what else did I do? That was I feel like that's like pretty much all I did was just work a lot last week. Snowblowed when it snowed out. And that's it, man. Just getting ready for the basketball season to start the 23rd. Yeah. NBA.
Yeah, it feels like they just stopped playing last week.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Actually, before we get too far in, I just want to give a quick shout out to my dude, Alex Turgeon, I think I'm saying it correctly. Shot me a super nice DM on Facebook about how he likes the show. He's living and working in DC. So, hey, Alex, thanks for listening.
Yeah, man. Thanks, man. That's really awesome.
Yeah, it was great. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's like all I did last week was just a lot of. Oh, dude, Jess got me the burger from Dead Horse for lunch on one of the days that I was there. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Crazy good.
Was it really that good?
Yeah, man, it was amazing. It was absolutely incredible. And then
what made it so amazing? Like what just made that burger
everything.
Stand out?
Everything. It was like, I'm not a fan of when places do burgers that are like so full of things that it's not even enjoyable and you're just like covered in gross juices and stuff. That's like not how I like to eat burgers. And this burger was just the perfect burger. It's fantastic. A little bit of bacon, a little bit of secret sauce, pickles, lettuce, not even tomato. I don't remember. It was really good. So shout out that burger.
Yeah.
And then New Tradition just dropped a whole bunch of new stuff too. Got a new t-shirt, new long sleeve, new diner mugs, which I just saw this morning, which I'm pretty excited about.
Dope. I have not seen the new stuff yet. I'll have to go check that out.
It's pretty rad. New hats. How are you, man? How are you?
Good. Busy. Same. It feels like I've been in front of this computer more than anything else, per usual. Last week, got a couple new projects in. Still early days, just signing contracts and that stuff. Got to talk about a potential new mural project. That was pretty cool.
What?
It's the kind of thing that like once you do one, you start opening up the doors to, the possibility of doing more, whether that's a mural or whether that's any kind of project you want to be proficient on. So It just takes the one. Like I'm getting new beer label projects. I love beer label design.
That's awesome.
No, I'm not the most, I'm not the biggest fan of beer. The label design is so fun because it's like a modern day album design.
Hell yeah. I mean, that's what I'm here for, right? Like you design the beer cans and then I just drink all of them.
You're my target audience. You know what I mean? I need to know which ones you're going to appeal to or which ones appeal to you.
There you go.
Yeah, and I was jamming out a lot to the Aesop Rock Spirit World Field Guide. It's his new album that came out back in November. And I just really got everybody's top whatever Spotify stuff came out, and Aesop was at the top of my list. And I'm like, oh, I haven't checked Aesop in a minute. And it turns out that it came out, so I was jamming out to that.
My Spotify Wrapped is my stoke today.
Yeah.
So I'll be talking about that more later.
Wait for that. And then last week we had to work. So Rocket is our 10-pound little terrier Chihuahua mix, and he has a bum paw. He woke up and he just something, I don't know what the hell he did to it, but he's been favoring his right front paw. So I've been trying to like feed pain meds. We went and saw the vet, and the vet gave him pain meds. Didn't say it's a break, didn't say it's anything like that. So we don't have any idea what the hell this thing is. But it's like trying to get a 10-pound dog to just chill out and not run around. And like the pain meds are kicking in, so he's feeling better. But I'm like, dude, you're gonna mess this up.
Oh,
That was my week, was arguing with the dog.
oh, could be worse.
Well, I mean, yeah, facts. But yeah, so mostly that, and I don't know. We're super, super pumped. Thank you, everybody that pre-ordered some merch. That was really freaking cool. How many people, stepped up and helped us get that order in. It helps us make sure that we get sizes for the people, and also make sure that, this money doesn't all come out of our pocket, and we take a little bit less of a risk, and y'all help out, and we kind of, give you a deal because of it. It's super awesome. So we really appreciate that. Yeah. And then we will have shirts, those same shirts for sale on the website as soon as they come in. These are all, without doxing anybody, these are all the orders that I have to send out. So
Not a bad thing.
super, super pumped.
Not a bad thing.
Is anyone else isn't a bad thing? Pierogies.
Big pierogi guys over here.
Yeah. So let's throw it over to Jaju, because we had an awesome conversation with those ladies. What is cracking, Fizzle Fiends? This week on the show, we are talking to Vanessa and Casey White of Jaju Pierogi. Thank you so much for joining us, ladies.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
So we talked a little bit before the show, but it felt very fitting to have you guys on now, because Christmas time to me is pierogi season. And you guys saying that you're very busy this December.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
Sorry, that wasn't really a question. You guys, so you have a bunch of events coming?
So December is a time where Vanessa and I kind of go, okay, we're going to be eating like granola bars and maybe a few spoonfuls of peanut butter and a lot of seltzer water and maybe a beer.
That's literally my diet. So
pierogi.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or like I always eat like the wounded soldiers, the ones that get torn open in the boiler, and I eat those ones. But yeah, and I like hand off my dogs. It's like a ritual. I hand off my dogs to my parents for like 3 weeks. I'm like, I can't even do this right now. Because it's just really like, and every year it's like a different perspective from the year before. So for example, like pre-COVID, we were probably I looked actually at our Instagram post from last year, the week before Christmas. So like the final full week run up. I think last year we finished our events like on the Friday, Saturday before Christmas. But I think that week we said we made 17,000 pierogies for the week. And it was like this crazy accomplishment that we thought we could never do. And then like now we're regularly making at least 25 in like 4 days, 25,000 in like 4 days. So every year we get our asses kicked in a different way, like at a different scale.
Yeah. You just keep setting up for a bigger boot.
Yeah, exactly. And another kick in the dupa.
Yeah, right in the dupa.
Which I just learned what that was.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's super impressive.
So it's funny. Like she was away last week, and it was the first week of December, and it felt crazy, but it also was like our pickup spots are like a little bit on the slower side, and I always have to remind myself that like it feels reasonable right now, but humanity in general are procrastinators.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, they are.
And it's also interesting too, like, so we have all the individual pickup spots, but our distributors now are aware that pierogi is huge during Christmas. So they're like, what discounts can we run? And, oh, we're going to stock up. So like you're managing both the individuals in the stores and the distributors that are like, okay, we're going to do 350 cases. Can you get them next week? And we're like, cool, we're finishing this wholesale for this week. And not a bad problem to have, but it's like, holy fuck.
That's fast growth. That's fast growth.
Yeah. I think, and like, it's funny too, like I went away for a week and you never know, right? So like some weeks are like less than others. And so you're trying to build inventory, but you never really know. So you can book a trip, 4 months prior. And then as the week is coming, you're like, oh no. Like we're down one man, like here we go. So
there's never a good time.
And we always try to build inventory, but never really works out that way in the sense that like it just gets wiped out pretty much within, if we try to build it like 1 week, the next week it's gone. So, which is again, not a bad problem to have, but yeah.
So that's incredible that the demand is so high for something that started out, I imagine was a passion project. Like the two of you just kind of started making pierogies with your grandfather. It sounds like from the website.
Yeah. No, I'm just laughing. It's always like we came at it from two different perspectives. And when we started it, I don't think either of us ever like had any vision or imagined what it would become. I mean, I don't think either of us started it being like, I want to quit my job and make pierogies for my life. But it was.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah, right. So like growing up, we had the family business in Western Mass. And like, I always, like personally, I don't know if you did, but I was like, someone's going to have to take this over at some point. Obviously, as you like went into your career, you're like, I really don't want to move back to Agawam and take over the Polish deli. But, and so like we started it because I felt like a responsibility to the family legacy. And also we saw a huge opportunity in the market because no one was making them to distribute. But so my perspective was like the legacy part. And I like never personally, like I studied languages and international relations, and I was in like international, like working for like international companies, and never envisioned that I would have my own business. That just wasn't really, I was kind of like, I'll just be some CEO of some international company at some point in my life.
Yeah.
Well, I know. We're both overachievers in life. Like just like in the sense that we're like, I mean, I'm super type A. So like, I was just going to be like, that's what I'm going for. Like, and I'm making pierogies.
Yeah. And I went to Bentley. So I went to business school. So I kind of had like that mindset, like, okay, like I wanted to own my own business. I actually always wanted to have my own restaurant. And now that I've done this, I can like check that off the list. Like,
that's awesome.
I'm happy we did this for sure. But I'm like, okay, I can do it when I'm done. Like our uncle who took over our grandfather's store has 3 food businesses. And I'm like, oh my God. Like I have no idea how he does that. Like now that we have one, I'm like, how do you mentally handle all of this? I have like so much respect for him now. But that being said, I always wanted to own like a business, food particularly. So that was exciting. But like she said, the opportunity was there. So we always had our grandfather's pierogi. Like my mom would bring it to us at college, and our friends would be like, where'd you get those? And so we'd be like, well, the local, like our grandfather's deli, like you've never had handmade pierogi. And they're like, I literally can't get them anywhere. So then we like started thinking more and more about it. And Vanessa's 5 years older than me. So we had like different phases of life. At that point, we were both out of school. So we had more of like an opportunity to kind of test it out. So we did.
Yeah.
But honestly, like we always get asked the question, like whose idea was it? And it kind of like, we don't really remember. Like it was kind of just like a conversation.
It was a conversation for many years. It was like, we should, because when we started having this conversation with our roommates and stuff, it was in school or like out of school. And it was like a good 5 years that passed that we were like, haha, we should do this. And we're like, someone's definitely going to do this, because it was like that moment of like the foodie revolution. Mm-hmm. So it was like for us, like an obvious thing that was missing. And it is intimidating to start a new business, and like a food business. I just feel like the documentation is very confusing in online and everything. And once you're in it, now it's like, oh gosh, it's like everything makes sense for some reason.
Hell yeah.
Or like the lack of making sense makes sense, or whatever.
Yeah. So like, I understand, like, so I did a little bit of a food business. I met you guys at 3 Cross. And that's where I first came. But those barriers to entry that they put in, like when you go through them, you're like, damn it, why do I have to do all this stuff? This sucks. But when you're through it all, you're like, oh, they do that to make sure that the idiots that won't do that won't actually serve food, because they're probably going to get people sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or those idiots like don't want to put in that work. So let's just weed them out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, that's a self-serving system.
Yeah. And then you start to understand like what they're really looking for, and what like those, like the 10 things that they're going to ask you about are. So like we get approached a lot by people who are looking to start a wholesale business, or even start a food business in general. And it's like, those like 10 things, like someone would be like, I'm looking to turn my bakery, get a wholesale permit for my bakery. Like I have people who want to buy my products. I'm like, okay, well, they're going to ask you about your ceilings. They're going to want to make sure everything is easily washable. They're going to make sure, like, if you're sharing it, it's going to be all these things that are like, we've gone through this process multiple times now. So we know like the inspectors and what they're really nerdy about. But yeah.
But it's interesting how many people too, like, don't know what they need to have, and they just like go with it. Like they're like, I bake cookies in my house, which you can actually do legally if you get permitted. But then there's other products that they're like, I was talking to a girl in New Zealand actually who found us on Instagram, which was pretty cool. And she was like, yeah, after COVID hit, I moved back home. And I'm like, we could never do that, even if we were making that little pierogi, like that's not legal here. But it's like funny, like there's just so many different, and like I remember the first year, like a lot of the taxes, like we get like these, these envelopes, like you didn't pay this. And I'm like, well, how was I supposed to know? Like, like how was I supposed to learn that? I guess this is the only way. So that's interesting. It really is.
That's awesome. How many people work for you guys? Like I see on your Instagram, it looks like there's like a handful.
Yeah. So we have a few people, plus we have like 5. We're working like 5 or 6 people normally. And then we have our MVP, Helga, who's our pierogi machine.
An actual machine.
Yeah, So
I thought it was like a person. I was like,
no. Sorry.
I did too. No, totally cool.
Machine. Was it 2.5 years ago? I think we started working with it.
2018. So 2.5 years.
So 2.5 years ago. So we were like making them by hand in 4. So like I was using the dough sheeter and she was the boiler, and we had 2 girls on the other side of the table, and we would go all day and pinch, and we were like maxing out at around 8,000 a week. And it was just one of those things where it's like a lot to ask of the employees and the staff, because if you like someone was off, someone was sick, someone was in a bad mood, whatever, it didn't matter. Like you had to start like knocking things off of like, okay, I can't take that many here. That person's not getting their order, like whatever. And so we researched it, and we got a dumpling machine. And the one that we got, it's pretty standard in like the dumpling industry, I would say, but we didn't have to change our recipes or anything. So we feel like our product is, no one's ever said anything,
which was the scariest thing initially, being like, okay, we're moving to mass production, I guess, what they think it is. But even like the 8,000, right? There gets to a point where like, okay, I'm going to only make X amount of money. Like that's also like the big part of it, right? You're like, okay, you have to invest in this machine. That's X amount of money, but like 8,000 times, it's very simple math. And you're like, okay, 5 years from now, like this is never going to be.
It's that, or get a bunch of babcias and chain them to tables.
Yeah.
Wait, what's a babcia?
Somebody's grandmother.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you get a bunch of babcias.
Some of these businesses, like
maybe a couple of chutchies.
Like Millie's, or there's also pierogi queen out of Enfield, they say still that theirs are all handmade. And I'm like, you've got to have like a bunch of babcias.
They do.
Just
They do.
caged up.
Millions. They're not caged. You can't say that.
You know what I
They
mean?
do.
Like,
Aggressively enforced.
how are you doing this? I don't know.
Yeah. So Millie's at that like, all right. I hope people that are listening to the show have actually had a pierogi, because we've talked a lot about them without actually describing what they are. But for anybody that doesn't actually know what they are, which is crazy to me, it's a piece of, it's like dough. It's a little pastry, looks like a ravioli or a dumpling, depending on who you ask. And it's filled with potato, usually potato cheese, could be filled with cabbage or some other random stuff, goat cheese sometimes. Like there's lots of different ways you can fill them. They are one of the most labor intensive things I've ever made. My grandmother used to make them, and she would roll them out in sheets, and you never just make them for like a night, because that's stupid. You always make them by like they're describing, by the ass load, because you freeze them and there's just no reason to do all that work for nothing. So she would roll out in a night 400 to 500 pierogies, and then people would come knocking on the door and, you know, take the pierogies off. And so that's where I learned to make them. And I've made them, but I kind of like, I butchered mine, and I made like nacho cheese ones and stupid American versions. You guys keep it very traditional.
It's funny. Yeah. It's we mix and like, it's funny because our grandfather made the potato and cheese, the kielbasa, red pepper, which a lot of people go, that's not traditional. And we're like, well, that's what our grandfather made. And kielbasa is Polish sausage.
Yeah.
And then, we do like the spinach and feta, sweet potato, caramelized onion. Those two were kind of what we thought of. And then jalapeno cheddar, which kills it at the breweries for sure.
I'm sure.
That sounds so good.
It's even like a broccoli and cheese, I always thought was like super good. Literally anything that you would put in a baked potato tastes amazing in a pierogi.
Right.
Yeah. Or when we would get we would do, in the past, we would do a lot more monthly specials because we had the capacity to do it, and it was a good marketing thing to do. And we do it when we can still. But we just kind of thought like anything that you can put like in, I mean, there's every culture has its dumpling, as we always say. So anything you can put like between bread, or like, you know, we like, one of our fan favorites is buffalo chicken pierogi. But really, like we've made Reuben pierogi, we've made cheeseburger pierogi, we've made cordon bleu pierogi. We made that at one point. Like
that was gnarly.
Yeah. And so like all those, like there's so many opportunities to think. It's just taking from other cultures and stuffing inside the dough.
And like buffalo chicken, right? Like it's literally shredded chicken, Frank's red sauce, and blue cheese. 3 ingredients. And people go crazy because people love buffalo chicken. But it's like so simple. And like we say too, like we're not chefs, like we're entrepreneurs. So we've never really been like, oh, we want to cook and we want to try this and that. Like we work with some chef people that are very much chefs, and we don't really think like that, but we do think of like, okay, what do people like? And what are we eating? And so that's why when people go, oh, how'd you make this? It's like our ingredients lists on any of our packages are very like straightforward, simple. We don't use much because we just want to like crank them out, you know?
We want it to be clean. I mean, we definitely want it to be something, like she said, like stuff people like. Right?
Real food.
Yeah, exactly. So when we do our specials, we do a lot of stuff with bacon, for example, because people love bacon. And
turns out.
Yeah, it turns out. But yeah, so that's kind of the idea behind our pierogies. But I agree. You can like really put anything inside of them.
They're little vehicles of deliciousness.
Exactly. Pillows of deliciousness. And
I'm sure most people have only had like Mrs. T's or any of like the big batch frozen ones, because that's what I grew up like. After grandma would stop making them, we would buy the shitty frozen ones, and they were just pale in comparison. They were never as good. So I don't think
I've ever had a pierogi until I had yours. So pierogi is like a whole new world for me.
Yeah.
We had Mrs. T's for the first time like 6 or 7 months ago, because I was like, I should probably try this.
So small.
And I'm like, oh dear God.
Yeah. Like, I mean, we always say that they serve a purpose, right? Like if you have a craving, you can buy Mrs. T's. Like personally, I don't think their dough's that bad, but their stuffing is like cardboard. It's not great.
It's very like it's instant potato. It tastes like to me.
Potato flakes.
Potato flakes, yeah, basically.
That's gross.
But what is it, like 24 for like $2.99 or $3.99? Like, so we always say, like, our business goal is to grow and sell our business to someone fancy like Nestle. Actually, someone messaged us yesterday on Facebook and was like, I love your brand. Like, I'm a brand builder. I don't know. It was like half marketing pitch, I think. But they're like, check out the RX bar story with Kellogg. And I was like, I'm very complimented that you think that we're RX bar. And
I've already been sold.
They sold their business for like $600 million in 3 years. And like, we're a little bit past 3 years, but you know, we can hope. But
what's going on that, like the $2.99, right, for like 24, it's really hard when you approach these larger chains too, to get our products in there, because we're a specialty item. But like, we approached Wegmans and like, he could not understand. He tried it. He said it was the best pierogi I've ever had, but he still was like, if you can't hit this price point, and we're like, we can't hit that price point.
We wanted
he wanted to cut it in half, and it's just like that's the hard thing. And I think that will be one of the harder things as we grow. Is yes, they like the product, but to get them to buy into the price point, because people will pay the premium price for sure. But that being said, as we like leave New England, our brand obviously, which will help with the national shipping, because we're pushing our marketing and getting people to figure out that we're shipping, and here we are on Facebook and all that. But like, that's the hardest part, I think, for the next few years, is really like getting people to try it and understand. Because once they try it, they'll definitely understand, but you have to get there. And COVID has kind of been tricky with like sampling and stuff. That's a no-go right now.
Well, I imagine.
Yeah, because you guys were doing the whole, like, I don't want to call it like a brewery circuit, but like, I feel like you guys were always popping up every weekend, basically.
And it was so important. I mean, I think we're both really grateful for, like, in retrospect, like, just happy that we went that route. It's kind of added a little bit as we grow, like a little bit of complication, because we said we will go anywhere. So we were going down to Southern Connecticut, up to Portland. We've done events in Southern Vermont, down to the Cape, all over Rhode Island, out to the Berkshires, everything, because we're selling everywhere. So when we show up, we would fry them up and then kind of drive people to stores. And especially like during COVID, when we launched those meal kits. So we launched meal kits at the beginning of COVID, and I called her up. It was like that dark day on the March 15th on the Sunday when everything closed. And it was like this moment of panic where no one knew what was going to happen. And I was like, I'm going to do this meal kit thing, and like, I'll pay for my own gas. It's probably gonna be like 35 people that sign up. And like, I'm just going to try this and just like throw couple dozen pierogies and a kielbasa and then like a few toppings in. And we ended up selling like 2,000 meal kits. And over the course of like 6 or 8 weeks. And we were driving.
Oh yeah.
And it was a Google form.
It was a Google form. I launched it. And it was like a Google form. So literally we would like be in the kitchen all day long. And then we would each go home, and I would build the routes, like the driving routes for all of the people who were driving and delivering. And I would be
invoicing people, manually invoicing people.
Because it just got out of control, right? Like we couldn't get ahead of it. So anyway, but what I guess going back to the pop-up thing is that all that activity for 4 years built that network. So it built the network of people who had tried our product, had also seen us, because Casey and I have always done the far distances. Like we've gone to like the far breweries because we like don't know how they're going to go. So we don't pay someone to drive like 4 hours round trip plus sit there. So we've been going, they've seen us, they saw us drop pierogies on their doorstep as they looked out their window. And like, it was a great network to have at that point. And it's also a great network to have for the stores. So the pop-ups, and like we're slowing down now with the pop-ups also because like it's so complicated and it doesn't make a lot of financial sense to do them.
They're so goddamn laborious. It takes so much effort.
And like QR codes and, oh, here's my phone number and text me your order. I mean, I get it, but yeah, it's like, I'd rather push out some wholesale.
You have to like take people with you now too. So it's like, and not only there's less people at the brewery, but you also have to take an additional person because a lot of it's table service now. So it's just, whatever. But moving forward, when things kind of clear up, I think we'll be a lot more targeted with our events. Like really make it like a tour or like make it more of a thing when we do show up someplace rather than going all over the place all the time.
But it is interesting, like we've said too in the past, like you go to some of these events, even pre-COVID, and you make like no money, but then you quickly realize like you have 4 customers for life. Like you never freaking know who's buying and who's loyal, and like, they're coming and buying 12 dozen pierogi each time you're there, and like you're just building that rapport, and then they tell like 6 of their friends. So you never know, right? Like anywhere you go. So it's kind of sometimes hard. It's sometimes hard to justify. Like, should we or should we not? Like I go to Beard in like Connecticut, right? And it's like I walk in there and it's like I'm like famous. Like they're just but it's like so funny. Like it's like, oh my God, the pierogi lady's here, pierogi's lady here. Oh, Casey. And it's like, because I've been going there for 12, a year, and it's like every other month. So it's just like, I mean, it's kind of cool, right? Because you make friends, like a lot of friends, and then like not only are they following you on Jaju, then they're following you on your personal accounts, and you're just like, so it's really cool, like the network. I think
it's so funny.
It's been great.
I went to drop a sample at a store in New London, Connecticut, like to kind of speak to this point. And I like walk in the door, and of course it's always like, hi, I'm looking for the buyer. And they're always like, oh God. And like, okay, well, like Katie's back there. And I like walk around the corner, and I had my Jaju shirt on, and she was like, she like freaked out. It's Jaju, because she had the pierogies at Beard. Like, so she didn't know that it was us that was coming to drop a pierogi sample. But then when I had my shirt, she was like over the moon. So that's what all these events like really just help with.
Smart. And I respect the hell out of it. It's 2 of you sitting there slinging pierogies. One of them's taking cash, the other one's frying them up. Because, I mean, to your point, like now they see the 2 sisters in action. You guys are the figureheads for your business, and nobody could say shit because they're watching you work, and they're watching you sweat, and they're watching you actually do the damn thing. So I don't know, just nothing but a million respect points. Because
thank you. Yeah.
I mean, I tell her all the time, I'm like no one, we're not going to die. No one, the day we die, no one is ever going to say that you're lazy or like, no, like I always say to her, like when we're really, really busy, I'm like, let's name 2 people that could outwork us right now.
I always say my mom and my uncle.
Like if they were like that's it. Like that's it. Like our work ethic too. And that's the thing. It's like we're sisters and we battle and like all that. But like, holy shit, I'm so grateful for her. Like
that's the first time she's ever said that.
We have it on recording, so you can listen back anytime. No, I mean, I think it's super special that you guys are 5 years apart doing this thing together. Like I have a brother that's 5 years younger than me, and it's a little bit of a dream to run a business with him sometime. And I'm sure the family squabbles must pop up, but you guys are now well versed in understanding how to fight and break apart and cool off and come back.
We know each other really well. Like I think both of us can sense the other's change in mood, like a change in temperature. And like know how to manage each other really well. Where like previous to the business, we really didn't spend much time together, to be honest. Like we are the only grandchildren. And we have no first cousins, and we just have each other. That's it. There's no other sibling. So we didn't really have a choice. I'm just kidding.
You were stuck. You had to like
you have to hang out.
Like another sister.
Yeah, exactly. So, and like, it's funny. I think it's just finally this year that our family likes taking this seriously.
Yeah. Well, my biggest like yes moment was my uncle finally took our pierogi in to the store. So they still make theirs, but when COVID hit, they got really, really busy doing other shit. And so I just kept like poking the bear. And then one day he's like, forget it. Yes. Like send 12 cases. And so now like
they're regular
customers and they push them. So they have a few other pierogi brands too, like just in case ours sell out, but it's like,
oh, okay. Okay.
Funny. Like that was when I was like, yes, they get it.
That's awesome.
It
took like 4 years.
That's crazy that like anybody couldn't take you seriously. You have packaged wholesale pierogies. Like you guys are doing the wholesale thing legit.
Yeah. And it's funny. Like, I mean, it becomes more and more real, I think, all the time when you have like, there's people that are very removed from us that are very invested in the brand and in us and all of that. And there's, some messages that come through that's like, wow, like this is real. Like we're a brand that people like don't just care about because they know us and they like are our friend from college, or something.
They really like the product.
Yeah, they like the product, they like our brand, like whatever. And so that's always really special. And but like, yeah, I think when we first went to go start the business, we went to the store to like get our grandfather's recipes and kind of play around for the day. And like Stignev is the token employee at My Family Story. Has been there for like probably 20, 25 years.
He's the only one I'll let take over in the business.
No, us.
He deserves it.
Oh, for all the family business, not
yeah.
business. Yeah. But he was like, you guys are going to lose your shirts. Like there's been, it's like the Polish smile.
So Polish.
Like the Polish smile is the frown. And they're just like, you guys this is not, and so it definitely took a few. Yeah. And even with our mom, like it only was recent where she would be like, can I get this and that? Da, 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 da. And she would like, send her order in last minute, this and that. And I'd be like, Mom, no.
Follow the rules.
Follow the rules.
It's fucking busy.
It's busy. Right. Like if you want to buy some, go order them online.
Or like 5 minutes because they're on the Cape. And so we sell at like a few stores. I'm like, or just try 5 minutes and support us that way. There's a store right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting. But like us, and then, so we have, going back to employees, we always joke about this, but this is true. If we ever do sell, we have one employee who's been with us for how long? I always say so many years.
85 years.
Yeah, it seems like, but like 3 years. And like, she is like the third sister, like honestly. So it's like funny because we had a party for Vanessa around her birthday in September. And I could hear her like telling everyone else, like, well, Casey says when she's 38 and they sell the business, like Vanessa and her are giving me like X amount. And I'm like, yep.
It's true.
That's true. Keep going.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And what's crazy is that that first deli that we worked out of in Beverly, like the employees would work around us on the Sunday. Like they were open, they just weren't doing prep, and we would kind of be on the table, like holding things.
And in their way.
And Amy, who's been with us for 3 years, is from that deli.
Oh, wow.
So you pilfered her.
Yes, actually, she was the second one we did. So Meg is another person who works, she works for us on the side because she has a full-time job. But Meg was the first one to come from the deli and worked for us for a few years while she was getting her master's, and then like got a job related to her master's, which wasn't a master's in pierogi making, unfortunately, but
who knew?
Who's offering that?
He still works for us. Like she'll come in on nights when we need help with some things, or like on the weekends with events. So we really believe in building like really strong relationships, like friendships. Like our best friends we have other friends, but like our employees are among our best friends, I would say. We're extremely close with them, and people are always like, employers that say that your employees are like family are toxic. And I'm like, I hope not. But I was like, they are like my family. They're like, really like my extended sisters. I only got this one. So
as long as like clear delineations made where, it's like they have to respect their parents.
Yes, exactly.
That's how this family needs to operate. No, but I respect that. I mean, like, as a fellow small business person, I love the idea of having small businesses. I don't want I've always said that I own a design company. And if I ever get to a point where I need to hire an HR person, that's when I'm selling, because I don't want to deal with HR. I don't want to deal with, because that to me is when you're no longer nimble, where it's now like a full on company and you're kind of rigid and you have to follow these rules, and you can't just like be flexible and have fun. And that's to me where the fun part of business is being nimble and trying to get through like the startup strategies. And then once you get big, it's like, all right, there's plenty of nerds that can take care of that. And I'm going to make something new.
It's interesting because this girl who works for Spindrift, I was having a conversation with her, and I saw her at an event, and she was the 5th employee at Spindrift, and she was kind of like asking me essentially like if we were interested in having someone else like in the future. And she was saying the same thing. Like, she's like, now we're at the point where it's like corporate, and I don't ever want to be in that. Like, she's like, I had a good experience. Like, I liked working with this company, but I liked being scrappy, and I want to be scrappy in whatever job I do. And I was like, I can relate to that. I mean, obviously our goal is to kind of grow and scale. What if that means taking on investment at some point and having like a board of directors and all that, like that's a different beast, and we will cross that bridge when we get there. But I totally understood what she meant by that.
Yeah, I don't know.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say I hate following rules. So like being scrappy is definitely like,
yeah,
I understand.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like we've got some other friends in the business. There's a couple pop-ups that started around the North Shore at the same time, and one of them is Goodnight Fatty. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they sell like they're like a late night cookie place.
Hell yeah.
In Fulham. Yeah, and their stuff is so good, and I love it. I rely a lot on them to kind of bounce ideas, especially for like marketing stuff. Because they're like geniuses with like capturing customer information and retargeting and all that. And to be honest, like we've been so involved in the business, like on the day-to-day level, that I'm just starting to do those kinds of things now, and really start to build like more of a marketing mechanism behind our business. But what I was going to say was like, I think that there's kind of 2 ways to build a business. You can build your business so that you have other people working for you, like doing the work for you. And you then like remove yourself. And there's a benefit to that where you have more time to be more strategic, but you also lose a little bit of the loyalty element of the employees. And we built it like on the other option, which is like, you're completely in it. Like we've been in the kitchen now for almost 5 years. Just every day we're alongside, we're doing the same things that our employees are doing. We're never going to ask them to do something that we wouldn't do ourselves. And we're probably going to get even dirtier than they are to spare them. And so like, that's how we built our business. And we've built like extremely loyal employees around that. But obviously the negative to that is that we don't have a lot of time besides like sitting at our breakfast bars from like whatever 5 to 8 in the morning and then 7 to 10 at night to do the work, like the admin stuff and the strategy stuff. So that's kind of the pros and cons of it, but that's where we've been making pierogies for a long time. So
even like this, like you said, 25,040. So now like this whole summer, we at least had like Fridays, like drop off samples or like, but it's funny. Like you try like schedule a meeting and like, you can't really tell the person like, yeah, I can't like pitch my product at noon on Wednesday because I'm like making it. Like it's hard, right? Like I should stop, but like, oh my God, like I got to get X, Y, and Z out the door. So it's like, that's the part where I go, okay, like now we're at the point where we got to be better about it. But I'm happy that we went the way we did initially, because I don't think I would appreciate it. And I also think that our workers, like the way I see them work is because we work just as hard. Like she said, like there's no way that would be the case, I think. So I don't think we would have gotten to where we are, to be honest, if we didn't like bootstrap and be there the whole time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if we have to wrap up soon. I don't know.
The last question I have is, whose idea was it to do the NSYNC Christmas album with all of your faces on it? Fuck yeah. That was awesome.
I always tell her, like, I just am always thinking about these random things. Like, here's a spoiler alert. This one isn't as funny as that one, but I'm definitely taking a picture of us in the Jaju mobile. It's red and having it photoshopped over a Santa sleigh.
Hell yeah.
One that's coming. And so I just like sit and think of these things all the time. I don't know what happens in my head, but so that was that was the Vanessa concept. And the things I make us do is, like Amy especially, she's just like, oh my gosh, she's making me dance again. Like,
But like she does it.
but she does it. But I'm always like, okay, everybody. Like at the beginning of COVID, we did the board in the house. The board in the house TikTok thing. We did like a video, board of the house video, like
That's awesome.
everything. Yeah.
But it's funny because like, right, like Vanessa, like I have like negative, like it's so great that like when we first started the business, like we like divided, like I will do whatever she tells me to do, but like I have no interest. I'm like, okay, like what bills do I have to pay? How much money? I don't want to cut
She's
this.
the accounting.
Like, I'm not even that, but I'm like, I'm not going to give you free product to get on your shelves. Like, how are you going to do this? Like, I'm like always like, no. Whereas Vanessa's more like the creative, but it's funny because it's worked.
Yeah.
It balances.
Right?
Very
We're
different.
very different in how we think, and like that has helped because I couldn't imagine like us being both on one side.
Yeah. Like
No.
I'm the yes person for sure. Like I'll say yes and I'm a softie. So like, especially in the past when like negotiating for things, like I'm always like afraid to ask for more. Like I'm always like, yes. And she'll be
Story
like,
of my life.
you've got to ask. And then, she's like numbers, I'm marketing. And then we both do like accounts and
So
sales
we like,
stuff
and
like
that's
that.
and that's another good thing too, is we both actually enjoy selling. But I didn't enjoy selling before, but I quickly realized that obviously because now I'm selling our products, that's actually good. So
Yeah.
it's not as hard.
So I guess the last thing is like the quick plug.
Please. And that's what we're going to ask is where do we people find you on the internet?
Yeah.
Please.
We are now shipping nationwide, which is super exciting because in the past we were shipping on our own and we're not getting the rate, like the better rates on shipping and materials. And so we now are working with another partner that's allow us to get our rates down and ship at the same rates like nationwide. So that's
Cool.
So exciting because I used to do all the shippings and go get dry ice in Cambridge every week, and I wanted to pull my brains out. So I'm happy that someone else is doing it.
There you go.
So we're
People
shipping.
can order those on your website.
To get them, people can just go to shop.dziadziupierogi.com for the shipping. Separately, we're also in more than 200 stores from the Canadian border to Baltimore. And that list is on just our main website, which is dziadziupierogi.com. You can get back and forth between the shopping site and dziadziupierogi.com pretty easily. But there's a store locator. People can just type in their zip code and find the closest location to them. But there's both those options. We have some pickup events around New England as well, which that's also available on the store. They can choose pickup. But really the main two ways to get our pierogi is just shop.dziadziupierogi.com for shipping or dziadziupierogi.com store locator.
Nice.
Or just go down to Maker in Maine if you're in Worcester.
Or in Worcester, there's Maker in Maine and
Ed Hyder's.
Hyder's, and also Worcester Public Market.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, Worcester Public Market. Were there
So
too.
3 places to get them.
Nice.
Heck yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Vanessa, Casey, it's been amazing talking to you. Congratulations on all the success. I hope you guys can get through this
Thanks for having
December.
us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, come on by. Hey, we're at Redemption Rock on December 20th. You guys
Are you really?
have a beer and grab a bag of pierogi to go. I'll be there. So
All
That's
right.
that's the spot. So I'll definitely be there.
That's
Sounds good.
Cool.
Thank you.
all right,
see you
have a
there.
good day. Thanks all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye. Welcome back. I never know how to like intro out of the middle segment of the podcast. I just feel like I have to say welcome, even though like technically nobody went anywhere, hopefully. You know what I mean?
Well, we took them on a journey with our story.
Good point. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Vanessa and Casey. That was
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah, you ladies are great. The pierogies are obviously fantastic. It was super fun hearing about how they got started and kind of where they're focused and wholesale and all that fun
They kill
stuff.
it. Like I've been to a couple of their events, and every time I get there, if I don't get there real early, you're missing out on something. And they bring
Really?
some really interesting flavors sometimes, and like they sell out quick. People buy them by the, I would say the bucket load, but that's not true. They buy it like the dishes, but they'll buy like all the flavors and grab 6 or 8 of all the flavors.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I don't want to be a basic bitch, but like I'm a basic bitch and I need that buffalo chicken one.
I mean, Buffy Chicky's always good. Potato and cheddar is my, like, it's the super, super basic and I'll eat it every day.
I think that's the one I have right now.
Yeah.
It was, sorry, not to cut you off, but when we, so this morning we interviewed Jaju. Then Travis and I took a little bit of a break. I went to New Tradition, and as soon as I walked in, I saw Greg Hyder, and we were talking about Jaju. I was like, "Yeah, I was just talking about you like 15 minutes ago."
We got to get the Hyder, him and Miriam. We need to have them on ASAP.
We do.
First of the year.
We were talking about how good the pierogies are.
So get yourself some pierogies. Go support some more local businesses, and yeah, be stoked on good food.
Yeah. Sorry.
Do you have
as I drowned on seltzer.
Don't try to breathe seltzer. It's a terrible idea. It's with that good Solon.
When you hit them with those stoves, ow! Gotta slap them with those pokes. Oh yeah! Stokes and pokes.
All right, stoking and poking time. So I'm gonna start with a poke, and I've been trying to figure out how to like position this. Ricky already knows what's coming, but so we've complained a lot about how the small businesses are being affected by the pandemic, especially the service industries, like our restaurant friends, and how a lot of our restaurant friends are out of work, and the government.
I totally forgot what you're about to say. Just a heads up, like you said that we talked about. I'm like, I don't know.
I know, because technically, like you said, that was hours ago, and we've had a lot of things happen between then and now.
I'm so excited to see what this is. I honestly can't remember.
So the government hasn't been sending out money, and awesome story.
I know what it is.
Awesome story came out over the weekend of how we can rely on somebody that we've all ripped on. He's kind of like the Nickelback of the food world, but the mayor of Flavortown, Guy Fieri, fucking stepped up, man. And he has raised, him and his organization has raised $21.5 million that they are sending out. Money. They raised that shit in 7 weeks, and they're sending $500 grants to 43,000 workers that have been impacted by COVID. And like, that's incredible, man. And again, $500 does not get very far, but that's more than the government's done in the past 7 weeks. And it's still, that's one person helping out 43,000.
That's so sick.
Say what you want about the man. He's a fucking business mogul. He understands shit that we will never, and his food isn't really that bad.
So the best thing about him doing this is you probably at the very moment could pop on Facebook and see, I don't know, a handful of people who have like maybe washed a dish in a restaurant, or even some chefs who are going to complain about literally everything, no matter what. And then you've got a guy like Guy Fieri who is going out of his way to help people. So yeah, shout out Guy Fieri, you know?
So thank you, Mayor of Flavortown. Thanks for looking out for the small-time worker. I mean, he understands just as much as any other restaurant owner that if you don't take care of your workers, your restaurant's useless.
It's true.
And he has like 40 or something that he owns.
Does he really?
70 or something. Yeah.
That's crazy.
The man, I went on a whole deep dive. Like, yeah, it's fun to shit on him because it's fun to shit on, like, you just gang on people and it's like easy to go. But then you start reading about
to fuck up somebody who has that much success.
And that's exactly
like,
it. You're just punching way
shit.
up. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He wipes his ass with better clothes than anything that anyway, that sounded weird. I am stoked. I've said it before, say it again. I love me some YouTube, and random stuff come across my YouTube suggestion all the time. And I didn't know it, but our homies in 4 Year Strong released a new video last week for their song Brain Pain. Oh my God. So they did it super quietly.
That's cool.
Those motherfuckers hit me right in the feels because it literally starts with the same mentality as COVID impacts so many of us. All we want to do is play live music again. And it's this incredible video about the four of them in their daily lives. So it shows Alan on the farm, it shows Joe at the coffee shop. It's really, really cool. And then they all That's just awesome. like they get the urge and they all pile back. It's totally upstairs at New Tradition, but they all just like come running. It's so freaking cool. It's so
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, like Jake comes running through a field. He's sitting there working on a house and he just starts running through a field. It's hilarious. And it's totally them. And the song rips. It's from that album that they really didn't get a chance to tour on. But it was just good. And I love seeing those dudes. And now we're getting the holiday season. And I know that they're going to be doing something cool soon too. So let's all
I think they just
announced
that.
Did they?
Yeah, I don't know, a couple days ago, last week, something like that. I saw it somewhere on something.
So yeah, let's get pumped for that because they're doing something. It's going to be online, of course, but hell yeah. That's what I got. What do you got for the people?
Cool. What's up, guys? Okay, so my poke is holiday shopping. I've never been good at gift giving ever. I don't know why. It stresses me out, but not in the way where I'm like, I'm going to get all this stuff. Just in the way where I'm like, how do you get like cool stuff for people? Like, I don't know how. I can't do that. I don't know what it is about me. It's not a skill I possess. I like get you anything you want, but like
you want
I got
the
Naomi
list.
something. Exactly. Yeah. I got Naomi something that just came in yesterday or the day before, or maybe the day before. That's like pretty funny, but it's like a small thing. It's like, yeah, it was like a little like funny thing. But yeah. So my poke is me sucking at everything in life, especially gift giving.
I keep a note on my phone all year round. Like literally people will tell you what they want. Like people in your immediate circle, they'll tell you just in conversation, like, oh man, I really could use that, blah, blah, blah. I jot it down. Like my mom, I shouldn't say it on here. My mom asked for something specific. So I put it in my phone and now I just have to make it. My buddy Ian over at Technocopia, he has the mentality that I want to do is he picks a new project every year. He's a woodworker and he happens to be very good at it. So it works to his skill set, but he picks one project every year and then makes a shit ton of them. And then that's his gift to people. He just gives them the thing. So everybody gets the paper towel holder or whatever the hell he's making that year. I'm like, that's the way to do it.
That's rad. I wish I had any skills. I have no skills.
You could make Instagram posts for people. Hey, Grandma, I gifted you an Instagram post.
Yeah. Hey, Nana, here's your gift. This is me opening seltzers
Spray
on the internet. I got like a weird accent all of a sudden too. Like, hey, yo, Nana, here's your fucking seltzer gift, kid. There you go.
That's awesome.
Ho, ho, ho. I don't know. So yeah. And then my stoke is Spotify Wrapped is a thing that I look forward to every single year. I love seeing what I've been listening to, but it actually never really changes for me. Facebook, you know how like when you pop on Facebook, it shows you what you posted like this day 3 years ago, whatever. So Spotify Wrapped dropped on, I don't know what day that was, like maybe Wednesday or something.
Middle of the week, yeah.
Yeah. And I was pumped, but it was exactly what I thought. Like my top 5 were the Menzingers, obviously, Run the Jewels, Taylor Swift, the Get Up Kids, and Jay-Z. And I was like, yeah, no, that pretty much nails it. That's all I fucking listen to on rotation it really is those 5 bands, like 5 artists. That's all I really listen to. And then my top 5 songs were like, there was like 2 Menzinger songs in there. There was 2 Run the Jewels songs. And then there was a Tribe Called Quest song. Nice. And I was like, yeah, that kind of makes sense too. And then my Spotify Wrapped from 2017 was reposted on Facebook. And I was like, oh shit. And it was like the same artist. It was like the Menzingers were number 1. I'm trying to remember. It was the Menzingers, Bad Rabbits, Run the Jewels, the Get Up Kids, and I think Anderson .Paak. Like only like 2 of them were different. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, so it's kind of weird to see that, like, I guess not weird. It's not surprising at all. My music taste never fucking changes, but I really like the fact that Spotify does this. I'm surprised that more things don't do it. Like Netflix, like imagine seeing like what you watched all year on Netflix. It would be like, I mean, mine would be a lot of shows because I got into watching like TV shows that everybody else has watched. So shout out Naomi for like turning me on to TV. But it's such a cool thing.
Sure.
And they break it down. They want you to share it. Every single aspect of it has a share now button, and like people lose their minds to share. And then you get to see like what your friends are listening to, which
Not surprising. Most of my friends also had the Menzingers and Run the Jewels, or one of the two, in their top 5. Everybody listened to a fuck ton of Ooh La La, apparently, because like every other person I saw had that as one of their top 5 stream songs. And yeah, I don't know. It's just like such a cool thing. All these people over the course of like 2 days start rolling out what they've been listening to. It's fun to see what other people have going on.
Yeah, I really dig it. I mean, I don't listen to Pandora all the time.
I hate Pandora.
I don't listen to Spotify all the time, which is like
That's the only thing I listen to.
It's slightly I mean, I listen to the music I own, and like my buddy Eric that came on the show, he wrote up, I don't have a top artist because I listen to only music I own. And I'm like, that's fair. Like my buddy Matt listens to vinyls. I wish there was a way to like, you know, track what vinyls I listen, but then you have a phone listening to you all year, and we already don't want that. So
yeah, well, it was funny. Somebody posted a thing that was like, oh man, you guys get super pumped about the Spotify Wrapped, where like they're literally just stealing your data, yet everybody's like terrified of TikTok. I'm like, just understand that they know everything about you. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you already own a phone that connects to the internet and it sits next to your crotch. They know everything about you.
Exactly. But yeah, so that's it. Oh, I'm also stoked on, which I haven't even listened to yet, but the Menzingers released a live record from Boot and Saddle. It's like a little club I think it's in Philly that closed or is possibly closing or something. But they released that on Bandcamp on Friday, and like all the proceeds go there. And so I bought that
Friday. Yeah, people.
Pretty dope.
Is it good?
You
haven't listened to it yet?
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's fucking great, but I haven't. I like bought it while I was at work, but I already had like a playlist thing going through Spotify.
And you can't mess that up.
No, so I just like let it ride, and I kind of forgot about it until just now. So maybe I'll listen to that tonight. We'll see. I don't know.
Too many things.
Too many things. Too many dicks on the dance floor.
It's a lot. Okay.
Too many dicks on the dance floor. Too many dicks. Too many dicks on the dance floor. Too many dicks. You know
So we need you to help us celebrate our 100th episode by sending us videos of you. You can just be like, hey, congrats on 100 episodes, or you don't even have to say anything about Seltzer Time. You can just film a video of your dog. We don't care. We just need you to send them to seltzertimeofficial@gmail.com. Or if you have Ricky and my number, just text us. Text us your videos. We need them for the 100th episode, which is in 3 weeks.
Oh shit!
3 weeks, something like that.
It's kind of wild that we've done this. 90. This is what 97.
Yeah.
This is 1997. We've done this that many times. Cool.
I had to stop myself because I had ODB. What is this? 97? All right, and then I'm like, nope, not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. That's terrible.
Whenever I think of the year 1997, all I ever think of is Hanson. And I'm not even sure if that came out in 1997, but that's the thing I think of. Oh, you know what? I'm also stoked about how bizarre has become a TikTok trend.
How bizarre.
I'm really, really into that. Solon sent it to me, then you sent it to me, then Madeline sent it to me, and I was like, this is what I'm here for. People know how bizarre started because of me.
I'm a big fan of the new TikTok trend. Some kid, he's a black kid, and only need to know this for the story. He goes, y'all heard of Elf on a Shelf? Well, I'm starting a new trend. And he walks over with Tigger from Winnie the Pooh on his shoulders, and he just stands in the mirror and he smiles and he goes, I ain't gonna say it. And it was real funny. And like other people have taken that and ran with it. It's clever.
1997.
No.
That's when it came out.
Good year.
So I guess it was, yeah, all right. Fucking, I don't have any talents at all. But I can tell you the fucking year that Hanson's Mob came out off the top of my head. Granted, I did have to double check it, but I was right.
You just confirmed. You just made sure.
I'm here for, All
right, people, you've done it. You've wasted another hour of your time listening to us Babylon, and we are forever grateful. Find us on the interwebs at seltzertime.com. Find me at Hunchback Travis.
You guys can find me at Seltzer Time Official and DickChuck77, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, fucking
MySpace.
I wish that was still a thing.
Alignable.
LimeWire, Napster.
Yeah, we're gonna put this up as the Joe Rogan podcast and trick people into listening to it.
Right. I wonder what my LimeWire Wrapped would have been. Like instead of my Spotify Wrapped, if it was like your LimeWire, I would have been like, oh my God, all this fucking kid does is download Blink-182 songs. And I'd be like, yeah, duh.
My Napster Wrapped would be the SNL recordings of Celebrity Jeopardy or like Dane Cook.
Oh, Dane Cook.
Which, by the way, we need to recognize that Dane Cook, we all have Dane Cook to thank for starting the Karen thing because he started that long before anybody else.
Okay. There's a podcast that I really listen to called Brunch, and they did some live stream things on Twitch, like back at the like mid pandemic, which I guess would just be mid.
The second pandemic, the third pandemic. How many COVIDs?
phase
JTs? 2. Anyway, yeah.
And they did. They called it "What's Cooking," and they just listened to Dane Cook's live records, like CDs, and then like talked about it and made fun of them. I didn't get to watch them. I forget what I was doing. Probably nothing. But yeah. So shout out Brunch. Shout out Dane Cook.
Okay, bye, guys.
I have to eat lunch. Speaking of cooking, I made a salad and then you text me back, but you sent me a link and I was like, so I fridged that shit.
You said anytime.
I know. I wasn't thinking. I like sent it and then I started making a salad. Also, like it's so weird that I made a salad, but whatever.
Proud of you. Everybody on the show is proud of you.
I feel like it might extend my life like a week and a half if I have a salad twice a week because the rest of my diet is 14-year-old who has left alone for the weekend with $100.
I got no judgments here. I went out for a McRib at 11 o'clock last night.
Oof, the move.
And I had to go to 2 McDonald's because the first one was shut down.
Wait, really? Did you go to Shrewsbury Street?
No, I went to the one on Southwest Cutoff, and then that one was like their ordering system was down, so I went to Main Street. I was on.
There's a McDonald's on Main Street?
Yeah, like in Main South area.
Oh, I know where it is. Is it like on a little hill? It's like kind of. No, I may be making that up. I know where it is. It's across from like a liquor store, like a little tiny liquor store.
It's not the McDonald's I normally go to, but
when we had a band, we had a practice space like that way. And then I remember driving by the McDonald's because we used to stop and get 30 racks of High Life at the liquor store across the street. My brother got his phone stolen out of his car there.
I thought you were going to say 30 rack of chicken McNuggets. And then I was going to ask to be in your band.
No, we never got McDonald's. We always got, what's the pizza? What's like the really gross pizza chain where it's like $5?
Oh, Little Caesars.
Little Caesars. We used to get
hot and readies.
They're so fucking gross. But yeah, our practice space was full of empty High Life cans and boxes of that disgusting cardboard pizza. I was such a gross person. I was still somehow in better shape than I'm in right now.
Awesome. All right. Well,
that's cute.
While we wait our Little Caesar sponsorship money to come in, we will catch y'all next week.
Bye, guys. Oh my God.
Good episode.
That's so funny.